Revenge on an old employer. I worked at a customer service call center. I was there for 7 years and created 33 new or updated documents for them to use because I'm highly trained in Microsoft Office programs, Word, Excel, etc. These documents were used at 3 different branches of the company, in 3 different states. When I started having emotional problems and had to see a psychiatrist, they decided to get petty and tried to make me quit by treating me like crap. That is giving me the horrible shift hours, making me miserable, demanding I do extra work, and then stating I wasn't going to be getting our yearly raise because my work ethics had become erratic, though all of my coworkers were praising me for keeping up with their ridiculous demands. Anyone who has had issues with a company who doesn't want to have to pay unemployment benefits and would rather force you to quit will be highly aware of the type of tactics companies pull when in this situation. I had originally put a watermark on all of the documents, but when I became so emotionally drained from having to deal with their demands, and actually had to check into a psychiatric institution for a 48-hour hold, I had enough. I knew I wouldn't be coming back after I got out of the hospital, so right before I went to the hospital to check in, I deleted the only copies of 27 of the documents that were for internal use only and locked the last 6 with a password that I gave to one coworker. Friend who had already given her notice and only had 2 days left. 2 days during a time that none of the higher managers were actually present because it was the weekend. I ended up staying in the hospital for almost 2 weeks due to the emotional state I was in and because I was suicidal by that point. During my 3rd day of the hospital stay, the company called my house 5 times trying to get a hold of me to find out where I had put the missing documents and what the passwords were for the locked ones. My family stated specifically that because they had driven me to the point of having to go into the hospital, there was no way that they were going to ask me for any information that had to do with the company. After the 5th call, my family told them that if they called again, they would report the company for harassment and stalking-like behavior. One of the managers actually tried to call the hospital to get a hold of me several times, only to find out that I wasn't allowed to take any calls from anyone besides my family. On one call, the manager tried to pretend they were family, only to discover that my family had given the hospital a list of my actual family members, just in case someone from the company tried this tactic. When I got out, the company called me 2 days later. When I picked up the phone, the person that had called had been one of the biggest perpetrators in the way they had been treating me over the past month of my employment. I told her flat out that the documents were gone for good, as were the backups, and the password locked documents were set to delete after a month of when I'd locked them. When the manager said they were letting me go, I said, "Thank you for the unemployment benefits," and hung up on her.